Alright guys, so we're going to take a look here at the squad report to get a look at our positional needs as we come into this new season. Obviously, the transfer window's open, so we're going to be starting to have to make some moves. You know the budget. We're going to see what we're doing here. So what we're going to do first here is take a look at the squad report to just see what we need. As you see, we have Butland in goal. Obviously, we're set there. He's fantastic. He's been in great form as well, so we're looking forward to seeing what he can do. Right back, we have Christoph Jelly, who's 78, but you can see he's hit that age 30 plateau where players start to decrease. So we're definitely going to be looking at potentially bringing in a right back before he starts to decrease too much. Obviously, he's still 78 rated right back. He's not bad, so he's not going to hurt the team necessarily, but we want to move forward and maybe get some value back for him if we can. We have Spencer as a backup. Looking at our center backs now, we're pretty solid at center back. We have Kalas, who is a solid 77 and steadily improving. He has great potential. Tompkins is an 80 overall. He's our captain. He's been fantastic. Danny Wilson here is interesting to note as we get into left back is we don't have any really true left backs, starting left backs. We've had Wilson out there on the left. So the question is, do we want to bring in a new left back and let Wilson move back to his natural center back, or do we want to keep Wilson out there because he has played well in the past? So do we want Wilson to stay out there, or do we do something that will allow him to move back to center back? We have Borsa as well, who's an 80 overall, but to be honest, his 80 is misleading. He hasn't really performed as well for me as I would have liked. You know, he has decent speed, but for some reason he seems to get beat balls over the top all the time. He doesn't win a lot of headers considering his strength. He has 91 strength, but and 89 heading accuracy. But he only has 66 jumping, so he seems to get beat a lot to headers, which is unfortunate for us. So we're going to have to see something about that. We also have Winston Reed as well. He's just going to hang out there as a backup center back. Daniel Potts, like I said, he's our only left back, and he's certainly not going to jump into the starting lineup anytime soon. Defense. Now getting to midfielders, we have one true center defensive midfielder is Eckersley, but we get down here with Sissoko and Diame. Obviously, you can see they're our main two CDM. Sissoko, of course, he's not going anywhere. He's fantastic CDM. So we're set in those positions. Out on right mid, we have Redmond, who can play both right and left, and he's been fantastic. He's progressing pretty solidly for us since we got him. So we have Redmond as well as Jack Carlson, who's a 78. He's gone up fantastically. He's only 25, so I'm pretty happy with the two of them. On midfield, we have Ali, we brought in, but he's not going to get much playing time anymore. We still have Mark Noble, who, to be honest, he impressed me maybe the last 2 or 3 games of the season, but besides that, he really just felt sluggish and slow and not solid for the team. So I'm a little concerned on what to do with him. Should I keep him? He's been a West Ham guy for his entire career, so it's tough to let go of him, but we'll see what we have to do there. We have some young guys, Trotman. Ravel Morrison has finally come back from his loan. He spent 2 years over at Birmingham City, so he's back into the team. He's got great value and potential. So he looks to inject some quality into the side, and we'll see if we can get some use out of him. Also, we have Jarvis, of course, still. He's an 80 overall. He's 28, so we probably only have 1 or 2 more years out of him before we want to try to get something. We'll see if we get any offers for him that we have to think about. But he's fantastic. He's our best midfielder, really. So not really any thought of getting rid of him. We have Jimbert as our cam. He's been improving. He's 72 overall at just 18. So we're looking to keep him in that cam position. We have Leggett, some depth. Now onto our strike force. We have, it's a pretty solid strike force. Vazte, he's solid overall, but it's a little older now. Vazte's 27. We still have Lacazette, the youngster, as well as Benzia, 19, 72 overall. But we have Maiga's now up to 26. So the question is, do we want to get a return for them while they're still valuable and improve our strike force if we can, which is what I'm actually looking to do. And you can see we have Paul, Howard, just a couple guys there. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the squad report. Obviously, where we're looking is a little bit defensively, right back, left back potentially, as well as maybe our strike force to improve that to get a more consistent playing partner for alongside Lacazette. Because that's what I noticed with Maiga and Vazte. They were real hit and miss. They would have games where they would score two goals in a game, pick up an assist, but then they would have long stretches where they would not produce. So the question is, do we want to look at something there? Now what we're going to look at is, first we're going to take a look at the budget real quick. Hang on, here we go into transfers, our budget allocation. And what you can see, we have $20 million in our transfer budget and $99,500 in our wage budget. So, you know, definitely a solid amount of money that we want to go with. But the first thing I want to do here is go into the scout, because we have a very subpar scout. We haven't brought in much to our youth academy. So the first thing I want to do is hire another scout with this funds. I talked about this last year, wanting to bring in a scout. That's the main thing I want to do. And this guy, Steve Bamford, is going to be fantastic. His 3-star experience is, what we're worried about is judgment here, because we want him to know what he's bringing in and bringing top quality players. So that's the most important thing. 3-star experience I'm not worried about, because realistically that just makes him a little cheaper for us to pick up. So $6.7 million is what we're going to give up. I'm just going to purchase him right now to show you that we're getting that scout. So we'll see what the new budget we have to work with is after we pick up Bamford. We hired the scout, so that's nice to see. He's in transit coming to the club. But now we're going to take a quick look into our new budget with that move. You see we have $13.29 million for our transfer budget, and still the $99,000 for the wages. So we still have a sizable chunk, but that does take away a decent amount that we could put forward to players. So what we're going to do here is take a look at our short list players that I've compiled that could have some value to the team and somebody we could look for. Now, I mentioned the weakness of Vorsa and how I didn't like him, and what I've been looking for here is center backs that have a high defensive work rate, because I think we've been getting beat. Balls over the top is the thing that's really been killing us primarily in games. And so basically I looked for players with a high defensive work rate that could fit into the team. So we have Bruno Martins-Indy, Jan Kirchhoff from FSV Mainz, Eliakim Mangala, who's just spectacular looking. I would love to bring him in, but his value might be a little bit too expensive for us. Jamal Lascelles, who's a little lower. I'm probably not going to bring him in. We're looking for somebody more quality that we can fit right into the side and rotate in the starting rotation, as well as Camp Reese from Fiorentina, but he once again has a pretty high value, be tough to bring in. The one midfielder that I've still been looking at is Moritz Leitner. He looks just fantastic. Is somebody that I might want to bring in if we have any funds left or we move out some of our midfielders. Now, we talked about bringing in a left back, so I've compiled a couple left backs here that are possible to bring in. We have Danny Rose from Spurs, who's got a decent overall. He's got good pace, good crossing, and his tackling is fantastic. So we like to see how he plays defensively. This Aurelio Sacco-Vertiz from Bilbao, who, look at his technical stats. For a left back, that is just unbelievable. He can free kick for us. His passing is fantastic. His tackling is still solid. He's got decent speed and acceleration, and his aggression is also very good. So he is just unbelievable looking, somebody we could bring in. This is the guy I'm most highly rated on. It's Aaron Cresswell, 78 overall, only $6.5 million value, so we could be able to get him on the cheap from Ipswich. Fantastic pace. His crossing is great to be able to work as he comes down the wing with Jarvis to interlay there. He's got decent passing ability, which is what we need. And what I like about him is his marking is 84, his tackling 86, and his slide tackling 86. That's fantastic for us on the defensive end where we're looking to improve. So he's really who I like. But we also have Luke Shaw here, a youngster who's more of a development project. So the question for you guys is, let me know, do you think I should move Wilson back to center back and bring in a new starting left back and use Wilson rotationally at left back, to fill in? Or should I leave Wilson at left back and bring in a cheaper left back like Shaw that's more of a project that can just develop in time? Also, we looked at some midfielders. I'm not really huge on midfielders to bring in. These are just a couple guys that look fantastic, but they're kind of last resorts if we don't have anything to do. Now, right back, another place I want to look for Jalé is we have Desciglio here, who's the cheapest option, which he's fantastic, 76 overall with a good potential, only 21 years old, and he's actually Milan's second option at right back, so he's really not getting a lot of playing time there. So I think it's someone we could possibly bring in. We also have Hewitt, who's more of a development project, but with Jalé pretty much on his way out, I don't think he would be the best option. We also have Matthews and Kyle Walker, but they're very expensive. Obviously, you can see why they are so expensive with the value they have. But Matthews, he's pretty similar to Desciglio in terms of stats. If you want to pause it and take a look at their stats, they're pretty similar, but Desciglio's value makes him, significantly better choice for us. So he's probably our first option if we want to pursue a right back in this transfer window. Now, the final thing I mentioned here going forward is our strike force. As it's something I really want to improve. Get another top-notch striker to play alongside of Lacazette. We have Benzia as well. So Maiga and Vaste, they've been a little inconsistent, and they're also aging a little bit. So they might find themselves on the way out. So what we're looking at here is some players here. Daniel Sturridge, he's listed as a right wing, but honestly, he has the ability to play as a striker. He's fantastic. Look at the pace. look at his finishing, his ball control and dribbling are unreal, as well as his passing is what I like. Is he has good short passing and dribbling to allow him to interplay with Lacazette around the box area, which I think would be fantastic for us. Another guy I looked at was Aubameyang, because what I also want to see is another striker with a high work rate similar to Lacazette, which Aubameyang and Sturridge both have. Aubameyang, of course, he looks unbelievable. And the question is, what can we bring them in with their prospective value? Aubameyang, 83 overall. His finishing is 90. That is unbelievable. Great ball control and dribbling. Good heading accuracy as well, which I kind of want someone that has more of a physical addition to their game, a little bit of a heading ability, just because Lacazette does not have that part of his game. We have Vela as well. I looked at Romelu Lukaku, which he has probably the best potential of any of these players, but he does have awful work rates. And I know, just a little scouting I did with him, he has a medium and low work rates, which really makes it tough with him. I've seen this on other Karumas, that he just doesn't get into good position to offer options with the ball. So I have a little bit of a neglect towards him. But Andy Carroll then, look at Andy Carroll. Ball control, finishing, unbelievable hang. And we had him for the past 2 seasons, of course. We used him in the first season last season because of the loan issue. I didn't want to use him, so we just let him on the bench. But he's back at Liverpool, and he would just be an unbelievable addition. I think his physical ability would work very well with Lacazette, as well as I know Carroll plays very well for our playstyle, having used him for the first season. So he's another option that we could have here. So that is what we're looking at. Araujo, he's an unbelievable player. I'd love to bring him in, but he's on loan at Barca B, so we're not going to be able to bring him in. But that's what I've compiled, guys. Let me know if you have anyone that you think we should bring in, as well as what you think we should do moving forward. That's fantastic, and can't wait to hear from you guys. We also have my last here on the cheap Benteke, who's kind of like he has a good heading and finishing, some pace as well, but he's like a cheap version of Maiga, and he'll allow us to have a little more. He's also cheaper than all these other players, so he could help us to strengthen our strike force with a little younger player, while still affording us some money to improve in other ways. So let me know what you think, guys. What we're going to do moving forward. Really appreciate the feedback, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.